You? Is anybody?
There's Molly, folks. That means your friends, the Goldbergs, are here. Brought to you by Duz, the new kind of soap for everything in your wash. First, let's drop in on the Duzum family. You know, Mom's away visiting, and she's left Pa and Unky to do the family wash. Listen, Pa's reading her note of instructions.
Dear Pa, be sure to use Duz. It's that new kind of soap, you know. As if I didn't know Duz does everything in our wash. Ready, Unky?
Yep, I'll start the washer. Oh,
Unky, you pushed the wrong button. Your hand's caught in the wringer.
Oh.
There. You all right?
Yeah, well, I can still use my left hand.
Okay, then pour some Duz in the washer.
All right, here, there.
Now, Ma says in her note, use Duz for the work shirts, towels, rag rugs, Daisy's rayon blouses, everything.
Hey, gosh, I wish I hadn't dirtied up my overalls like I did.
It's all right, Unky. Ma says right here, Duz will get 'em clean easy. Don't even bother with a bar soap. Duz gets clothes clean all by itself. You got those work shirts in?
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
Now, you sort out the towels and sheets. Ma's note says, hang 'em where the new neighbor can see how dazzling white Duz gets 'em. She'll see no soap gives whiter washes than Duz.
The women. Hey, what's this? Do we does this, too? This pink thing?
Sure, Unky. That's a rayon doodad of Daisy's.
Oh.
Ma says Duz is safer for the nice colors she washes. Yep, gives longer life for colors. Yet you can't beat Duz for getting the grimiest clothes clean. Here we go again.
Well, Pa, never thought you and I'd come to this.
Well, that's Duz for you, Unky. It does everything.
Yes, even Pa and Unky find wash day easy with Duz. Why, compared to other leading granulated wash day soaps, Duz gives longer life to colors, plus unsurpassed whiteness and real cleaning power for the dirtiest clothes. Try Duz, D-U-Z. It does everything in the wash. And now the Goldbergs. Molly Goldberg has often used fire to fight fire, but now she's using temptation to kill temptation. Alone of all her family, she believes that the two petty, unhappy thieves who came into her house to get what they could can be saved. Grace, you remember, pretended to be Molly's daughter-in-law, and the Goldbergs took her to their hearts for the sake of their son who is now abroad. But while Grace still believes that the Goldbergs trust her, George, Grace's husband and partner, has confessed to everything. Molly, against everyone else's will, is trying to save George and Grace from their own weakness, and has arranged for George to head a committee to correct juvenile delinquency in Glastonbury. Well, as always, Molly's actions are just a little too heroic. Listen.
All right, Mary, put. All right, darling. I know it's very hot, and I'm going to fix the lemonade in 1 minute. Everybody's exhausted with the heat of one lemonade.
Ma, is Grace going to be at the meeting?
Yes.
Well, does George know that she's coming down?
Not yet, but I'll tell him.
Ma, what do you think you can accomplish by having Grace come down?
What I can accomplish, I want her to hear how good people think, how plain people think.
But what difference will that make? Grace just thinks that this is a great big joke and that we're all fools. Did you see the look on her face when you told her that George was on the financial committee?
It's all right.
Well, maybe she thinks it's just a chance for George to get away with all the money.
Let her think what she thinks. Stir the lemonade, please. Stir the lemonade. I trust George. You don't trust George?
I don't know.
Don't worry. Don't worry, darling. Let Mama worry, yes? Let Mama worry. This is an experiment. If you trust a person, they'll live up to that trust. And that's my motto.
What motto?
Motto? Trust a person and they will live up to that trust.
Jean Valjean was trusted also.
Well, he took the candlesticks, but he put them back.
Molly, you're only putting your head in a noose. You're trying to make honest people out of two crooks that came here to rob and swindle you.
Abide with me, Jake, please.
I am not abiding.
Abiding.
I'll be no part of this experiment. No, 100 times no.
Jake, please, everybody will hear you, please.
That's what I want.
That's what I want.
All these people are trusting George with money. Cash money. What if he goes off with it? Will you be able to make good?
All right, Mr. Newton.
Jake,
Mr.
please, not a
Goldberg.
word. Yes, George, dear, yes.
Mr. Newton wants to see Mr. Goldberg for a minute.
Oh,
George, I'm asking you. Resign from the committee.
Mrs. Goldberg, you're only... Well, look at all this money. Take it.
No, I want you to keep it. That's what the committee wanted, George.
But look at it. Cash as well as checks, and they want me to arrange for everything.
And that's what you should do.
Please take it.
Don't you trust yourself, George? Test yourself. That's the only way you'll know if you're a man or not. Don't disappoint me, George. If I believe in you,
Ma, here's a check for $50 for Mary Foote.
so don't give it to me. Give it to George. Take it, George.
Rosie?
Coming, Pa.
Look at me, George. Straight. Don't put your eyes down. That's right. Don't be afraid. Look, darling. Don't be afraid. Let me give you a kiss and believe I trust you. Believe I trust you. All you have to do, George, is to change your ideas about things and what they're worth. That's where all the trouble comes from in the world. We put a wrong price tag on things. Things that are worthless, we put a big price on. And things that are golden, we pass by and we can have them for nothing. We had money already, George. Plenty of money when Mr. Goldberg was in the real estate. So what? Could I eat more than I eat now? Did I sleep in more in one bed than I slept? George, darling, straighten out your values, and you'll see how happy you can be. Oh, Grace?
Yes, Mother.
You see, George, Grace got up from bed and she dressed herself and she wants to be to the meeting also. She likes also delinquency. Come, darling, sit here. Everybody's coming into this room because they want cold lemonade. So sit here, darling. Here, see? By the window, darling, so you'll be comfortable.
Ma. Oh. Grace, are you all right?
I'm fine.
Here's another check, Ma, for Martha Wilberforce.
How much?
$5.
So give it to George.
Molly, Mr. Willoughby is giving $500.
Give it all to George.
Molly,
Excuse me, Rosalie, did you give the money to George?
Yes, Ma.
Molly,
Didn't you see Grace, George?
Hello,
See?
Dad.
Molly, I want to see you a minute.
I'm coming.
Ma.
I'm coming.
Ma, I want
Excuse me, Grace. Excuse me, George. Tell Grace about the whole delinquency in the idea, in how you started it, and how you spoke to Constable Newton. Tell Grace, darling. I know she's interested.
All right.
I know she's interested.
Well, you sure have been working fast, George. Financial secretary. And I'm upstairs wondering where we'll go and what we'll have to go with the day we leave. What was all that talk you gave me about reforming, remember? You grabbed the check. You made me come back. You told me that we'd leave this place clean except for the harm we did to people's feelings. And I'm lying upstairs wondering what came over you, and you're down here wheedling your way into a real kill. What happened? Don't stand there like a dummy.
Do I look like a dummy, Grace?
Oh, sometimes I don't know what you look like. I know I love you. I know we're having a child. And I know we're dead broke with no future. After that, I don't know anything.
You mean you don't want to know?
What do you mean I don't want to know? Don't tell me you're enjoying the honor of being godfather to a lot of brats. You're not falling for this delinquency thing. George, let me remind you, if this is going to your head, that you and I are still sailing here under false colors. We're a couple of pirates. I'm your wife, not Sammy's. We're two cheap crooks. And when these sweet people find out, if they find out, we'll get the business. We're here to make a killing before we get killed. Don't let the honors take the place of the dough.
Sometimes I wonder what you really think of me.
What's that got to do with what we're talking about?
I mean, when you talk like that, what kind of a person do you think you're talking to?
Maybe I shouldn't tell you.
Maybe I'd better find out before it's too late.
What do you mean? Don't tell me you're getting the notion that you're smart enough to run this game without me. You're not being tempted by all that dough to take a little flyer on your lonesome.
George, such a to-do. Such a to-do. And such enthusiasm. Look, cash again. $25 more. Bills and bills and bills and bills and bills. Oh, George, darling, everybody likes you so much, so much. Grace, isn't it wonderful, wonderful when people can have so much confidence?
Maybe he should incorporate himself.
Huh? Well,
I'll be back. Mrs. Pearson is just on the verge deciding whether to give $5 or $10. Maybe she'll give 15. Maybe she'll give 15.
You're getting to be quite a glamour boy.
It's not me. It's the idea that's getting the dough.
Maybe Mama Goldberg is right. Maybe it is you. Maybe I'm not appreciating you.
Gee, Grace,
Oh, don't look so hurt. I'm only trying to bring you down to earth. Listen, George, be a realist. These jerks with all their teary sentiments about giving money to save these kids don't give 2 cents for the kids. This money is blackmail that they're willing to pay so these kids won't grow up into people like us who can feed off society. It's like the dough they pay the police and the judges and all the other guardians of law and order. Law and order is just a fence around their property. And giving a few bucks to help keep some kids straight is also a part of the fence. You know that, George. Don't let Mama Goldberg's weeping and wailing get you down. She's out of this world. She doesn't know the score, but we do.
Do we?
You see that dough? That's the score. You can buy anything. Pleasure, respectability, social position. Everything has its price. Everything. Men, women, children, things. Everything's on the market if you've got the dough. Let's take it and blow.
Such enthusiasm, and so many more people is coming. It's such enthusiasm, George. Mrs. Willoughby's cousin is coming. We have to wait yet because she's got to hitch up the wagon, and she can't go by car, but she's coming with 2 horses. Such enthusiasm. It's something to warm your heart, George. George, go in. There's more money for you to collect.
Why can't I help?
Do you want to help, Grace?
I'd love to.
Well, George isn't exactly a lion of courage, and his attachment to his wife is greater than anything else in his life. Perhaps Molly's trust is going a little too far this time, for Grace shows no signs of weakening. You know, one thing about Molly Goldberg, what she thinks is right is pretty apt to be right. You know, you could say the same thing about Ma Doesn't, too. This morning she said,
"Some women are the limit. Take Mrs. Hale next door. I work so hard," she says, "but my wash never looks pretty like yours." "Goodness," I said, "why don't you use Does?" She said, "What's Does?" Imagine such ignorance.
You see, Ma can't imagine anyone not using Does. Well, I can't either. Because this new soap does everything in the wash. Work clothes, towels, to pretty rayon slips. Honestly, compared to other leading granulated wash day soaps, Does gives longer life to the nice colors you wash, plus unsurpassed whiteness for towels and real cleaning power for the grimiest overalls. Why not let Does do everything in your wash? And when you do, remember, Does, like all soaps, contains vitally needed war materials, so don't waste Does. Always measure Does carefully into your machine. See to it that every bit of Does you use does more. Be sure to listen to the next episode of The Goldbergs, written for you by Gertrude Berg. Grace finds herself making a speech, and Molly finds herself listening. This is Clayton Collier speaking and reminding you to do as the Doesums do. Let Does, the new kind of soap, do everything in your wash.